This is TJ Cates. We are in the editing suite, and this is our first time to try one of these podcasts like this. And I reached out to one of my good friends. Do you go by Pat or Patrick Collins? What do you go?
Patrick, yeah, or old Cappy.
Oh, Cappy. I like that. Okay. And he's a beekeeper, and he's actually the most important beekeeper in North Mississippi because he is actually helps a lot of other beekeepers get started. And he mentioned today that it's like, I think that there's a lot of beekeepers, and your son had even mentioned that I think there's a lot of beekeepers. Jump into the beekeeping world because, like on a frozen ground thing today, are the bees okay? Are they okay?
Yeah, the bees are good as long as they have honey. So we do like to take the honey from the hives in the summertime or the fall to sell and to enjoy ourselves, but we always leave enough on the beehive so the bees can make it through winter and through cold spells like this. So when it's cold like this, they stay in the hive. They don't hibernate. They're still very active, and what they do is their bodies actually vibrate and they shake, and that creates heat. So inside those beehive boxes, it's typically a steady temperature about 90 to 95 degrees.
Yeah.
Because even down here, sometimes up north, the queen will stop laying
I
eggs in
thought
the
we were up north, man. It's like 17 degrees. Are we not up north right now?
yeah, it,
Sorry,
it
it's just
feels like it.
okay.
But
Go ahead. Have your
the
beekeeping.
queen actually still lays eggs in the wintertime here a lot of times. And I know there are eggs in my beehives. I saw them 2 weeks ago. And they have to keep that temperature so the eggs don't die and freeze. So the hives stay that steady temperature.
So bees good, red wasp bad. Can we say that out loud? Does that hurt your feelings?
It doesn't hurt my feelings. I think red wasps are good for certain things.
Hey, you really like what? What are they good for?
They kind of clean up. They eat a lot of insects that are that are around as well. I mean, they're insects themselves, but they have a place in the food chain for sure.
Okay,
I'm
well, I
not
didn't
an
know that.
expert in red wasps. I'm more of an expert in bees. So
I got hit under our pool cabana last summer. I went and I knew I had some floating around. I couldn't find them, and they actually made a whole big huge hive, and they hit me like 8 or 9 times. And I've always said I'm allergic, but then some people said I don't think you're allergic. I think because it doesn't affect my breathing, it'll make me swell up and feel kind of like I had the flu for a couple of days. And I had to get one of my sheriff buddies to show up over here with some industrial strength bee stuff, and he took them out. But
yeah.
I mean, man, but honeybees, y'all still wear the capes. What do you call them? You don't call them capes like superheroes, do you?
Yeah, it's veil. It's like a fencing veil,
And
and it's
they still
connected to
sting
a
you.
jacket. I'm sorry.
We should be covered. We should be talking more about your excellent
No,
honey
that's okay.
product. But do you still get stung, or do you not?
Oh,
I don't understand.
yes, you still get stung some, not through that. That's protective clothing, and it's a jacket and a veil, and they typically can't sting through that. Now, a lot of times, if you're, it depends on the time of year and the kind of the mood they're in. If they are hungry, which what I mean by that is if there's no honey flow, if there are no flowers that are producing a lot of nectar for them to go get, then a lot of the bees are back at the hive and they are a little bit agitated because they're used to
Oh yeah.
going and getting nectar. And then if it's so they can get a little bit more agitated during those times of year. We call that the dearth. And sometimes working them, you do get stung. A lot of times when I get stung, I would get stung like right where the sleeve ends, and then I wear
They know where to
nylon
get you.
gloves. Yeah, they'll get right in there and
But
get you
they're
good.
so important for the environment. And honey is really. I'm kind of a naturalist, and I went into a soap shop today. I was going to Lost Pizza, which we love, Lost Pizza, and I went in there and got us a pizza. And I was talking to the ladies. I'm like, "Do you have any soaps at the Magnolia Soap Company? Do you have any with frankincense and myrrh? Do you have any with eucalyptus?" And then the sugar scrub. They're talking about all this stuff. And I tell the girl, I said, "Don't laugh at me, man." I said, "I would rather do this stuff than the other, but natural honey during the allergies and everything. If you get am I right? The honey that's made fairly close to where you are, it has the same pollen. So that's what really kicks up our allergies and it kind of the honey cancels it out, right?
It can, yeah. That's it certainly helps. So the pollen, the local pollen in your local area, we say about a 50-mile radius is really
50.
considered
Okay.
local. Yeah, and I actually, well, sometimes I want to stretch that to 80. It just kind of depends on the area that you're in, but if you think about the local plants, 80 miles from here, the plants are pretty much the same.
Okay.
But anyway, 50 is a real good number. I don't get any pushback on that typically. So the bees are in the pollen that you are
Yeah.
allergic to, and that's what's in the honey and in the hive. And when we process that honey, we don't process it very much. All we do is cut the wax off of the top of the honeycomb, and then we
Okay.
spin the frame around, and it throws the wax out, and then we put it in a bottle, and this goes to your
There's your
table.
bottle. And
But yeah,
I told you I had mine, and you gave me two. You gave me hot, and you gave me regular. And I went down to the kitchen just a second ago, and Jill said, "Hold on, where's this honey? Where's this honey?" And she's like, "You already ate that one." I'm like, "I had 3 bottles of honey going at one time, and yours is just I put it in my coffee because I don't do coffee creamer, so I'll do the honey. Man, your honey is very different, and you've been doing this a while. But I wanted to cover the bee questions
yeah,
that everybody else may have because we grow a garden every year and it's really nice and we do see the bees come and pollinate. I just didn't understand the science. So let's talk about now you're at your beehives, the little white boxes, and you open that and how do you get the honey out of there? And what's the difference between raw honey and filtered honey? I have a lot of questions.
yeah. So um, the bee boxes themselves. I wish I had one here, but I don't.
No, I'm
But
glad you don't. I would get up and walk out of the room,
what I
even though
would
we're 10 miles
say is
away.
the boxes themselves have frames in them, and there are in my beehives there are 10 frames, or
Okay.
9 or 10, just depends on the size of the box or
Okay.
what I'm doing at that time of year. Some of them you can get that are 8, um, but the we pull those frames out, and the frames are what the bees make the honeycomb on, and the honeycomb either holds honey, it holds pollen, or it holds eggs and larvae. And so when we go to harvest, we pull you'll see beehives. Sometimes there'll be like 1 box or 2 boxes, and sometimes there'll be 4 or 6 boxes. They're very tall. And what that is that's during a honey flow and they're bringing the honey in. So we take the top boxes and we leave the bottom 2. That's their winter honey. And that also is their eggs. The top boxes don't have any eggs. They do have some trace pollen and then honey, of course. And then we take those and we pull all the frames out, and we cut that cap off. Like I said, when the honey's ready, the bees will put a wax cap over the honeycomb. So when we harvest it, we cut that off, and then we spin it in that spinner and then put it in the thing. So the difference between uh, raw honey and what they call pasteurized honey, a lot of
Gotcha.
times, if you get honey, a lot of times in like a large grocery store or a national brand,
Yeah.
they have to pasteurize it to make sure that that it's safe for the consumer. Honey is safe, but that's just one more step that they have to do. And
Okay.
what that is heating it to a certain degree. And what happens when you heat it to that high of a temperature, a lot of times it kills off the enzymes and things that is what really makes the raw honey really good for our bodies. So
Okay.
that's
So that's why local honey is so important.
yes, exactly.
Another reason that local honey is so important. How can we eat the combs? Because see, you just told me stuff
Mhm.
I ain't worry about now. Okay, you said there's different flavors, and some of them is eggs. I don't want to eat eggs, and then some of them is honey, and then some of them is something pollen. I don't want to eat pollen. So how do you just know because you're the beekeeper?
Yes. So some beekeepers, in those frames, they will have special frames where they will go in when they harvest the honey and they cut out the wax, and they cut it in little squares, the bee wax that's full of honey, and they'll sell it like that. And you can eat that wax and honey, and that's good. A lot of people like to chew on it like bubble gum. I don't particularly like it. The wax, will break up in your mouth, but it's fine to ingest, and it's good that way. I don't do that because this is an interesting fact.
Okay.
Bees make the wax. So I have a little picture. Not right here, but there's a.
We're not advanced. It's my first video, man. We're going to be able to drop in videos, pictures.
Good.
When you come back, we can do that.
And on their thorax, I guess the body of the bee, there's little glands, and they make wax. At a certain age, bees will make wax, and it's little flakes of wax, and they take that and build a honeycomb. It takes the energy to take. I'm sorry, let me get my wording right. The energy to make 1 pound of honey will take to make 7 pounds of wax. So a bee to make 7 pounds of wax. Oh, sorry, 7 pounds of honey to make 1 pound of wax. So I don't cut the wax out. I give the wax back to the bees so they can bring in more honey and make more honey.
Oh, cool. So you work with the bees.
Yes.
That's so cool, man. I didn't know. I just know that local honey, I've always been a big fan of it. When I moved to Nashville, their flowers are totally different. When I'd go to Atlanta's really bad about it, all the trees and the pollen. So I would go by there and pick me up some. All right, I got one more question, and then we'll get into your company. But when we go to Whole Foods and we get a juice with the kale and the spinach and the carrots and everything like that, of course they add honey, but one of the options is bee pollen. Yeah. Where are they getting bee pollen from? Is that off one of those trays that you're talking about?
It is. And actually I don't have any with me right now, but I do what they call trapping pollen. And so that's a contraption that goes on the beehive. And when we turn it on, the bees have to go into the beehive in a different entrance. Okay. And they crawl across this little graded platform. And when they do that, bees bring in pollen on their legs, like little saddlebags.
Yeah.
And the thing they go through will take that pollen off of their legs. So I like to tell people, when you see pollen, it's all in little balls. Each one of those little balls was on a bee leg.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. And so it takes it off. And so this is interesting. They feed their babies pollen and honey. They put it together. It's called bee bread. It ferments. And that's what they feed the young. Well, so when we turn the pollen trap on, we don't leave it on. We only turn it on for about 2 or 3 days. Then we turn it off so that they can get pollen. And we only do it like during the springtime when there's always a really big pollen flow. Yeah,
because it gets green on your car. Is that bee pollen?
Yeah, it is pollen, tree pollen. Yeah, and that's what they're getting. Yeah.
Well, all right, tell me one more thing, because I'm so sorry. When I grow tomatoes and flowering plants that are outside in the garden, they seem to go hit there. Are they adding something to that flower, to the plant, or are they pulling something out of it, or both?
Oh, they are pulling it out. They are either getting pollen or nectar from the flower. Now, I'm sorry that you may be correct. They could be adding other pollen. So they're at this flower over here getting pollen and nectar, and then they go to this flower. And when they go to this flower, they're bringing the pollen from this flower over here. And that's how they pollinate. Yeah.
You know so much about bees. I didn't realize that. We just met. We didn't just meet, but we've been friends and knew of each other. And then we ended up going and grabbing coffee a couple weeks ago. And I got one of my juices, which I love. We're at the Baker's Corner in Hernando, and I'd already had my coffee. I try to limit it because I'm a little hyper anyway. I don't need a gallon of coffee like I used to drink, and it dehydrates you anyway. So I go straight to juices. But yeah, man, I didn't realize you're into this. You gave me a little bag with some honey. Tell people, like, before we cut away, I want to keep talking. But I want to tell people where they can actually find you, find your honey, and maybe buy from you and learn more.
Absolutely. So here locally, Mrs. Hippie Eats sells our honey.
Oh, McIntyre.
Yep. Great food there. And then on our website, oldcappy.com, you can get our honey and the name of the company is
I'm going to make a note. And I'm going to put your website on there because I
Yeah.
thought I had a Cappy.com.
Uh-huh.
Just Ocappy.
Olcappy.com. Yep. OLC.
OLE or
OL. OL.
OLD? No,
No.
no D, no E. We got time for all that. Okay,
Right.
Ocappy.com. I'm
OL.
gonna put it, I'll post edit this post for us, and I'll go change the description and I'll put that in there.
One thing I want to say, so the beehive we do get honey out of there, but we also get lots of other great products. You mentioned them, bee pollen. We also get bee wax. We sell wax. We take that wax and we make lip balm. You mentioned frankincense. Our lip balm has frankincense,
Get
essential
out of here. I
oil.
love frankincense. If
Yeah.
people don't know the benefits of frankincense oil, eucalypt and frankincense and myrrh, there's those things we think they're just biblical, but it's a real thing and you can actually buy it. And I put it in my diffuser and our house smells crazy. We smell like a hippie sometimes, but
Yeah.
we're not. But I do believe essential oils play a really big place in our health. And I totally believe that your honey does too. Okay. We can get the
Now,
wax. What would we do with the wax? The block of wax.
you can make beeswax candles with the wax. You can make lip balm. We make a salve or a moisturizer with the wax and other products too. So I mean,
I would go there right now, man. It's payday. I want to see you.
That's right. I mean, I've even fixed squeaky wooden doors with the bar of wax. I just rub it on there and it slides and it makes it good. Something else that's in a beehive that we just started harvesting is called propolis, and this is a tincture. It's a tincture. We take this propolis, we soak it in alcohol, 95% alcohol solution. They used to use this before anesthesia for dental work. So they would put propolis on a root canal to deaden it. So this will deaden.
Does it work? If you tried it, it works.
Yeah, it does. It will numb your sore throat and help you get over that cough or cold super fast.
And that's made from bee wax.
It's called propolis.
Okay, so it's not something that derives from the bee.
Yeah. So bees collect resin from trees, and they bring that resin back to the hive, and they use it in a bee. In nature, bees will live in a tree, like a hollow tree. They'll coat the inside of that tree with propolis. And in my boxes, they'll take that propolis and put it between the boxes and close up any gaps or any where their air is flowing in or out. So they use it as a glue, but it's coming from trees in the area, and that's what helps the deaden things and stuff. So
somebody has to say a toothache, they could use that propolis and they could mix it a little bit. And
you could. It's real gummy. It's literally, they used to chew it like gum too, bubble gum. But once it gets warm, it's real messy. Like I do chew it in the summertime, but it'll stick to your teeth, and it's pretty. It's hard. It'll stain. You
should have been a science teacher. I would have passed class. I wouldn't have to take science 3 times.
That's what I love about beekeeping is you learn so much. And one thing I wanted to say was, if you want to be a beekeeper, right now is the time to be researching and deciding what you got to go buy your boxes, you got to buy your frames. And just so happens the Memphis Beekeepers Association has a huge one-day class, and it's next Saturday, February the 6th or 9th, I think. You can go, you pay $20 or $30. You're there for, most of the day, and they tell you everything you need to know to be a beekeeper. It's great. That's where I got started.
Will you teach there? Okay.
I'm not teaching there, but there are, Memphis Beekeepers Association is very big, so there's lots and lots of beekeepers there. But I'm not teaching there, but it's a great resource for people. Absolutely.
That is too cool. What are you doing this weekend? Any big plans?
No, the snow is on the ground. I want to go. I might go see the bees. Just depending, maybe tomorrow. I build all of my bee boxes, and so I'm itching to get to the lumber store to get some wood to start cutting for new boxes.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for taking time with us today. I want to let everybody know this is a new show. It's just something a little informal that we're going to do, and I want to grab people anywhere around the world. If you want to be part of what I'm doing, then reach out to me. Just shoot me an inbox. Probably on Facebook is a good way to do it. If you got my number, just shoot me a text. If you got an email, I'm tjcatesproductions@gmail.com. I'm 901-262-5255. Everybody's got the number, so I may as well give it out on the internet one more time. But yeah, we'd love to hear stories. And this is really interesting to me to learn so much about the bees and the beekeeping world. And Old Cappy is definitely, hopefully, going to come back. And we just
Yeah.
had the best conversation like a month or so ago. And he's really got a lot to do. And tell everybody one more time where to reach out to you and connect with you.
Yeah, it's
And
oldcappy.com on the internet, or we have a Facebook page, Old Cappy, or
I'm going to tag it in this video.
yeah. I'm
All right,
sorry.
man. Well, that's great. This is TJ Cates. This is the first time using this thing. I looked at it. I don't know if you can see that, but we're
Oh,
live right now on that internet doing our video. So
awesome.
I'll go back and tag you and do a post production and post edit and let you know. And we love what we do, and we love connecting with everybody in the community and around the world. And man, it's been great. Thanks for saying yes and being our very first guest.
TJ, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Stay with me because I am going to try to find out.